Hey everyone, and welcome back to New Model Monday. We're here for the June edition, and joined by me as always is Tyler. And today, as you may have seen on our social media posts, we're joined by a very special guest, which is Tony Cook from White River Publishing, Model Railroad News Magazine.
Hey guys, hi Tyler, Matt, how you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
I love these new model. You started this on Facebook, sharing pictures with us of new models, and now the videos even better. Getting to see the stuff that always fun, fun, fun. So, and I know you got a bunch of surprises for us today.
We do, yeah. Now it looks like we're having a little bit of a technical issue here because I'm not hearing Tyler.
That was on my end. How about now?
Okay, there we go. All right,
So,
false alarm.
yeah, how's everyone doing?
Yeah, so yeah, Tony. First of all, for people who aren't familiar with the magazine or who you are in the model railroading world, you want to give us a little bit of an introduction?
Yes, I'm Tony Cook, and I do Model Railroad News, a monthly 100-page magazine on all scales. We cover everything from Z on up to G of new product news and product reviews. And June is my 13th anniversary
Wow.
of doing the magazine. And then I'm managing editor of Diesel Era, which is quarterly for White River, and then I do HO Collector Annual, which will be out like later part of this summer, which will be 116 pages of old HO stuff. So
Very
always
cool.
busy. And then I have my Model Train resource channel where I do unboxing and that kind of share some of those products as well. So all things trains all the time.
That's the way we like it.
Totally. Real Renaissance
Actually,
man.
and we actually just got we just got the latest model railroad news in at the
Ah,
office today.
Mhm.
awesome. We have a new printer and I'm real happy with it. It's
Yeah, that's nice.
color
Yeah.
sharpness, everything is a nice improvement. So yeah, check it out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
Tony, I did want to say real quick, before you were even involved, in the magazine world, I have, you had been doing your Tyco train resource and all your other websites about the history of HO and N scale model trains, and I thought that's always been just such a cool resource, for stuff that my dad grew up in the 1970s and 1980s with Tycho and early Bachmann, and it's pretty cool, looking back on the stuff he grew up with and showing it to him, and kind of sparking that nostalgia.
It's a lot of fun. That's really in the last 25, 30 years, that's what my hobby's turned into is this documenting history.
Mhm.
And I can remember talking with Lee Riley, who worked there at Bachman forever. He goes, I'm so glad somebody is doing this before all of us old guys are gone. That, and getting in for, and Lee would spin amazing tales and tell me all sorts of exciting stuff about, oh, I remember
Mhm.
when I did this or that for AHM. It's like, oh, I never knew you worked for yeah, before Bachman. And so yeah, it's fun stuff, and I get a lot of feedback, as you say, the same thing, Tyler. Wow, these were trains I had, or my dad had, or my grandfather had when I was a kid, and we always wondered who made this or what was that, and it's neat stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about your historical side of things is that you have so many great photos of old Bachmann products that, for the most part, you just can't find good images of online.
I can't remember who, but somebody at Bachman a few years ago, I remember when I was asking about something and they said, no, we don't have any pictures on that. But if anybody did, we would think you would. And I said, no, I'm looking for this or that. But yeah, it is kind of neat. I'm trying to think what I have Bachman coming up in the HO Collector Annual, because I always do have, I'm doing like the A team train sets that Tyco did and a couple
Mhm.
other things. But yeah, I always have some fun products for Bachman things. And those are catalogs I always love paging through, because as a little kid, that was the kind of thing I would sit there looking at is, oh, I'd love to have this Bachmann Spirit of 76 set or whatever. Yeah.
I do that every day at work.
Yes, you do. Yeah. You make the catalogs now. Yeah.
I make the catalogs, but I still look at them. It's like, oh, I need to get that. I need to get that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so I guess we can get right to it with products and stuff. So as everybody may probably have guessed, we're not in our usual setting in the office right now. We're at our personal layouts, actually, me and Tyler. He's at his home and I'm at mine. So if you hear a shriek in the background, it's none of us. It's probably my 2-year-old daughter. Um, but yeah, we got some exciting HO products to talk about, some cool N scale products, and even got a large scale item to show as well. So Tyler, what do you think we should start with?
I think we should start with something that people have been waiting for a long time, and I think we should change things up and do N scale. Usually we start the show with an HO model, but let's start with N scale this time because I've got something right over my shoulder here that I think a lot of you have been waiting for and excited for.
All right.
That would be the N scale Siemens ALC 42 locomotive, DCC sound on board, TCS WOW sound. As you can see here, we have the Phase 7, number 309 on my layout at the moment. This is, like all of our Siemens products, both in HO and N scale, this is created from the original Siemens documentation with assistance from Siemens as well as Amtrak to make sure that these are the most prototypically accurate models that we've ever made and some of the best on the market. A lot of you may remember, the HO version was out in stores before the real ALC 42 had even entered revenue service. So the N-scale version, been a little bit since we announced it, but it's almost here. This is a production sample that we're going to fire up for you in just a moment and show you how it looks and how it sounds. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the button here on my Easy Command Plus. Hopefully folks can hear that startup sequence.
Now, we did have a little bit of an audio issue with this, so if it's not coming through too clearly, we do apologize.
Mm-hmm. Turning our headlight on and off. Now, this is what you really want to hear.
One of my favorite sound aspects of this model is you've got the horn that you hear now is not the same horn tone that you hear when it's in motion, which is prototypically correct. So that's the low tone horn. And then once you're in motion, you got the higher tone horn.
Just like that.
There you go.
Oh, nice. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm. This is a, just like the HO scale version, this is a TCS WOW sound decoder with all the, the 16-bit CD quality sound you've come to expect from TCS. It's got all the usual TCS WOW sound features like audio assist and keep alive. You're really getting it's really impressive how TCS was able to work with us to get a complete, sound package into this tiny little locomotive.
And if you can see there, it's just by picking up that it's also got the lit number boards as well.
It does.
Oh, nice.
And this is
it's got the very distinctive corridor work light on as well.
Mm-hmm. You can see the outline of the motor in the background there.
Mm-hmm.
Or the prime mover,
got
I should say.
Marker lights turned on. And if you go back to my main camera, Matt, I'll show the other paint schemes that we're offering. So for the Phase 7, the new Amtrak paint scheme, in addition to the 309, we have the second number that was repainted as the paint scheme, the 310. And here's a nice look at the packaging as well. Very classy packaging. Tells you right on the end, TCS WOW sound. And this is to show this is straight from the factory, exactly how it'll be coming into stores, which should be very soon. I believe they are on the water at this moment. In addition to the Phase 7, we have the Phase 6 transition scheme with road number 304 here in my hands. And I don't have a sample of it here today, but we are also doing the very first ALC 42, the number 300. And in my opinion, saving the best for last, we have the very popular Day 1 unit from the 50th anniversary of Amtrak back in 2021, with the inspired by the very first locomotive painted in the Amtrak paint scheme.
Which I believe was that an E6 or an E7?
It was an
E8.
E8.
Yeah. Penn Central E8. Yeah.
Can you tell I'm a modern modeler and not a 60s 70s modeler?
Yeah.
The ALC 42 is an awesome locomotive. What do you say we just go back and forth a little bit here? I'll do an HO model, then you do an N-scale model.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you folks haven't seen it already, we also have a video up on our YouTube channel of the N-scale ALC 42. Really, showing in further detail. I can pull it off the layout here real quick, but if you want to see some of these fine details up close, like the separately applied windshield wipers and the mirrors, the MU hosing, all the super fine detail on this model, make sure to check out the video on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I love that locomotive. Almost makes me want to get it to N scale, but luckily we have it in HO. So actually right behind me there. So we're going to move to an HO locomotive we've actually brought up, I think, on almost every stream. A lot of people have had questions about when they're coming in. We've shown package samples, which usually indicates that models are pretty close to arriving. And as of right now, we're awaiting the shipment. It should be in any day now to start shipping to retail stores. And that is our HO Scale 060 with road-specific details. So this is a model that we've had in the catalog for a couple of years. I know a lot of people have been excited about it. They've been looking forward to getting them on their layout. So we're happy to announce that they're going to be here probably within the next couple of weeks. Probably at least by the end of the month, they should be shipping to retail stores, barring any unforeseen changes.
All depends on the motion of the ocean as those containers are coming over.
Exactly. Yeah. So these are actually both functional models. So I'm going to run through a couple of features on these models. Now, one of the things that you'll notice with these, obviously being road-specific models, is they have a little bit of a different appearance to them. So you've got these are the Pennsylvania and the Union Pacific, with the Pennsylvania on the right and the Union Pacific on the left. The Pennsylvania, as you'll see, has the high-mounted headlight. Now you can't see here, but when I run it past, you'll see it's also got it's got a coal tender, whereas the Union Pacific, I believe, has an oil tender. Is that right, Tyler?
That is correct. It has an oil tender.
Yeah, so we've got several tender styles that we're offering these with. We've got several headlight placement variations. We've got two different versions of a high-mounted headlight, and then for the UP version, you can't get away with a high-mounted headlight on a UP model. It's such a distinctive feature, so we had to have the nose-mounted headlight added to that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and fire one of these up here and demonstrate a couple of the sounds for you.
Mm-hmm. While you're doing that, I want to add, in addition to all the great, road name specific features Matt went over, while you may know we've had a USRA 060 in our line for many, many years, this is not the exact same model. In addition to all the road name specific features, we've gone back and updated the boiler tooling to make the details more crisp. Added a few more separately applied details. You can see it has a working Easy Make coupler on the front in addition to the rear, which is only proper for a switching locomotive. And we also made some improvements to the chassis and drivetrain in addition to upgrading it to DCC sound value.
Right. Yeah, it's a very cool model, and it just also it's worth pointing out that this isn't replacing our 060 that's in our line right now. This is going to be supplementary to that. So we hope to expand on the road names for this one, but for modelers who want to just model in DC, who are looking for an entry level 060, we're still offering our traditional 060 as well. But this comes with 5 paint schemes right now, and we're excited to finally have it almost here. So I'm going to go ahead and start up the sounds here. Is that coming through all right for you guys?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Sounds good.
So we just got that's just the idling sound right now. And actually have the headlight on right now, but if I turn the headlight off and turn it back on, you should hear the little whoop noise.
Mm-hmm.
And got the horn, we got the whistle. We got the bell.
Very nice.
And let's just bring it forward a little bit here. Actually, I'll just reverse it a little bit here. You'll see there's the coal tender there. A little bit close, but there is a coal load on there that's visible. Mm-hmm. If I back this up, I'll bring the Union Pacific out.
What's the sound system on these? Whose sound is it?
These are
This is a
soundtrack sound value.
Oh, okay.
yes, economy specifically.
That's right, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm going to switch over to the UP. Get the headlight going. And the sounds are the same for each locomotive. It's a standard locomotive type. But once again, here's the and bell. And I'll bring this one forward a little bit here. And there you can see the oil bunker there. And as you can see, there are also a lot of separate parts to this. Like you've got the cab windows there. You've got the railings that go around the tender. It's just a really nice looking model. And these are perfectly suited to layouts of any size. If you have a large layout, they're a great switching locomotive for yards, for light freight duties. And if you have a small layout, they'll be great for running local freights and having a nice tendered steam locomotive on your railroad.
Well, I can see the updates on the boiler that you mentioned, that it's had some new things added to it. And yeah, being familiar with the 060s of the past that you've had, you can really see some of the detail on the sides there of the boiler. Are the tenders new tooling, or are they maybe from other locomotive releases, or are the tender? I kind of remember it always had one standard tender before.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
tenders are completely new.
Yeah,
Ah,
completely new tenders. We do have we've always offered a couple of different tender styles for the 060s, but these particular styles on the new 060 are not reflected of the tenders that we had on the older 060s. So these are completely new. So that's about all I have for the 060s there. Really nice looking models. I know I'm personally really excited to get one on my layout here officially. And yeah, like I said, look for these at retail stores probably within the next couple of months at most. All right, so Tyler, I'm going to send it back to you now for another N scale or not announcement, another N scale reveal.
Absolutely, yes. This is not an announcement. It is a reveal. It's a world premiere, which we like to do on these New Model Monday live streams. So our N-Scale GP38-2 is now going to be available as a DCC ready model, and I've got samples of all four of the road names for that model right here. We're going to start off with a tried and true, very popular modern scheme, the BNSF Heritage Free Scheme. GP38-2 joined our N-Scale line a couple of years ago as a sound value release, and now we're offering it DCC ready for those who want to do their own decoder installations. You can see here we kept the space in the fuel tank with the speaker holes to install your speaker in. And these are actually a little bit of a milestone for us. This is the first time we're doing an N-scale locomotive that's DCC ready with the Next 18 plug. Moving forward, whenever possible, we're going to be in our N-scale models that are DCC ready, have that Next 18 plug so that you can plug your Next 18 decoder right in there. So keeping up with the current standards in DCC.
Absolutely.
Showing off some of the other road names here. Here's the Milwaukee Road. Milwaukee Road, unlike the BNSF I showed you, these were not equipped with dynamic brakes. So you can see here we've got a different roof without the dynamic brake equipment, just the simplified hatch with two exhaust stacks on it. So for a little bit of a different look. Always thought this was a sharp paint scheme with the orange black.
yeah.
Here's another one, chassis system. This is probably my favorite one out of this batch. You know, I think it really looks sharp with the dark blue trucks and the fuel tank. Chassis system, you know, always thought it was just a beautiful paint scheme.
It's hard not to like the chassis system scheme.
Absolutely. Classic.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and finally, Norfolk Southern. This is actually a functional sample, so I will pop it on the test track real quick so you folks can see it. Not quite as exciting as a DCC sound locomotive, but so you folks can see it in action. The modern thoroughbred scheme. So you got a nice little mix of classic and modern paint schemes with this run of road names. I'm going to turn around here and pop it on the track.
And is the non-dynamic, I know that's new for HO, I think in Missouri Pacific, but is that new tooling, or did the N-Scale always have both dynamic, non-dynamic versions?
For N scale, we did have it as an option from the
Okay.
beginning. We only did. This is the second road name that we've done without the dynamic brake. The first one was a Union Pacific for the sound value. That buzzing you're going to hear is, again, it's not with sound because I'm operating with my Easy Command Plus controller. You're going to have a little bit of feedback from the DC motor like that. DC locomotives are safe to run on the DCT system. You just want to be careful not to run them for too long to protect the electronics on board. All in all, it's a solid model, one that's very popular if you're modeling from the late 1960s all the way up to today. And look for those to be releasing later this year. Throw it back to you now, Matt.
All right. What I probably should have been doing was getting the next locomotive prepared on the layout, but I was too enthralled by looking at these GP38s. So might have to bear with me for a second here while I get our next locomotive up and running. So we'll go back to the O60s again here. They're going to be coming off the layout right now. And now we did show this before, but we had some we had some issues getting the model to perform on the rollers that we had. But we have a functioning sample here, and this is our upcoming 44-tonner.
Oh, nice.
This is also the first sample we've received with the Union Pacific scheme. We did have an earlier sample, but we made some changes to the paint to make it more prototypically accurate. So this is how the production version of the model will look. So
yes,
a little demonstration here of some of the sounds and features. Now this one actually has soundtracks as well, but this one is Tsunami 2. This is our very first Tsunami 2 offering in our line, so we're pretty excited about that.
Absolutely. You're going to be very impressed at the high quality sound that's coming from this tiny little locomotive.
All right, let's see if we can get this thing fired up. Hopefully it's coming around okay. The mic's not too close to the locomotive.
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, that nice critter sound gurgling up. Yeah,
and that's the whoop from the GE style air compressor. I always love that sound. It's very authentic.
And so we got the appropriate horn here. And we got the bell. And let's do a little bit of a running test here. Oh, that's my railroad.
Dirty track. It can happen to you.
It can happen to anybody. Yep.
I'm always impressed though.
Doing this.
I'm impressed though that Matt's layout is finished. My stuff is a lot like what I see Tyler, the plywood central. I have the same, and yet Matt has this nice finished layout. So I've always been impressed with that.
All right,
Absolutely.
Let's just do a really, really quick and dirty clean up there.
Yeah, and some history about this particular locomotive. There we go.
I'm sorry about the frame rate. It's not optimal, unfortunately.
This is the first round, I believe, ever with sound for this model, correct? For you guys?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first one with sound. This is the first time we've offered a couple of these paint schemes that we're doing as well. So this one here is the Union Pacific. Very cool locomotive. This one, just a little bit of a history of this particular locomotive. This ran in up in the Pacific Northwest in Idaho, and it actually still survives today. Not in UP colors anymore, but you can actually find this locomotive at the Danbury Railway Museum in Connecticut.
Wow.
I believe it was sold to a power station, which is how it ended up over here on the East Coast.
Mhm.
But it's always cool when we do these historical locomotives and we find that they actually still exist today. And speaking of other paint schemes that we haven't done until now, got this in the box here for you. This is the Baltimore, Ohio version here.
Oh, nice. I like that new packaging. You know, when I reviewed the New York Central Hudson, I mentioned the blue and yellow box, and I'd had several emails, from people asking because the packaging at one point was kind of reflecting what red for like DCC sound and blue for I can't, and somebody said, "What is this?" I said, it's new. Yeah, this new design. I do like that. It's a really clean, neat look for the packaging.
Yeah, we're trying to universalize our brand image. So when you see whether it's our website or it's our packaging, you'll know it's a Bachmann product. So yeah, there's obviously more sound features on this, being a Tsunami 2. I don't want to go through all of them right now because we're going to be here for probably the next 25 minutes just doing that. But a little taster for you. You can see it's got some of the cool features of this model are you've got the windshield wipers here. You've got the crew figure in the cab here. You have a nice single tone horn on top here. It's just all around. It's just a nice little model and something that, much like the OSXL, will work for railroads of just about any size. So yeah, that's
Looks sharp. Yeah, really nice.
About the 44 tonner. Other than the fact that they're also shipping now, they're not shipping to retailers now, but they're on the water, and we're expecting them to arrive within the next month or two.
And Tyler, I think you said that you were about to say something about this being a historic model.
Matt pretty much covered it, but I was going to just add, it was originally, in addition to serving in the Northwest and Idaho, it also worked in Omaha, so it went kind of back and forth around the UP system. So there's multiple options depending on what side of the system you're operating.
Yeah,
and
Omaha is pretty much the hub of the UP system, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, it was used as a yard switcher as well as a shop switcher there.
And this is a landmark release because I'm sure, as you guys know, this in 1988 or 9 is the first a new tooling Spectrum release.
Correct. Yeah.
Upgraded Jeep 30 came out, and then this came out and was a real, oh wow, look at that. So this really helped establish the Spectrum name with a lot of hobbyists of, wow, that's incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a quintessential Bachmann product, upgraded for the 21st century.
Absolutely.
So, Tyler, do you have anything else in N scale, or are we staying in HO here?
Neither actually. So the N scale, as far as N scale, I had to show was the Jeep 38s and the ALC 42. But I do have one more announcement. This is something that we had teased on the last live stream in May, which, if you'll remember, was our large scale special. And we had a sample that came in just after that. We were not able to show on the stream, but it's ready to show now. So here's another first look. This is our large scale, 129 scale single dome tank car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is the Texaco, one of the 4 road names that we are offering in this initial release, as well as Shell, Quaker State, Texaco. They will all each have 2 road numbers. We're also doing an additional road name, a Mrs. Claus's Holiday Punch, to help expand your Christmas layout.
This is as always as North Pole and Southern.
Yeah,
that's right. It's very nice, solid, heavy tank car. You've got metal handrails. The dome lid here actually opens up, as you can see.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm. Metal handrails also go on the dome and around the entirety of the car. Got this rivet detail on the walkway, which looks very nice. You're
I know we,
separately a brake grill right here.
we had some questions on the last stream about the trucks on these when compared with the trucks on our other 129 scale offerings. So these are different to the trucks that we're offering on our box cars and our Bethlehem steel hoppers.
Yes, as you can see, they are friction bearing, which is correct for this type of car. So we won't be demonstrating anything with this one because I don't have quite the space for it. Maybe
It'll take about what 5 seconds for it to get from one end to the other.
That's a nice piece, and that's new tooling, I believe, isn't it? First time it's been offered in large scale
first
by
time,
Bachmann.
first time for Bachmann. It is a former Aristocraft model, like most of the other 129 pieces that we have brought out. And we're happy to be bringing that stuff back. After Aristocraft, went out of business, there were a lot of fans of Aristocraft in the large scale world, wondering if that tooling would ever see the light of day. And we've been bringing it back piece by piece, starting with the egg liner, then going all the way up to the Dash 9, and continuing to bring out freight cars to complement as well.
Which
Very
is,
nice.
speaking of the egg liner, I don't know if you happen to grab one of those, Tyler.
Not on me.
Okay, well,
We had considered it because we found out that apparently today is National Egg Day, but one large scale model I think is enough for this apartment. So
so shout out to the egg liner for National Egg Day.
Very cool.
yeah,
All right, so I actually have a few HO scale items to unveil here as well. So bear with me 1 second here. These are models that we have not shown painted samples of yet, much like the GP38s. And this is our
The air
Airslide
slide
hopper.
hopper.
4180 air slide hopper.
That's correct.
Nice.
This is a model that we're pretty excited about because we have a lot of freight cars in our range, but we haven't had too many offerings in the the later second generation to modern era. And these cars, these actually span a fantastic amount of different periods of time. I mean, the first versions were seen in the '60s, and you can still see these running today as primarily as buffer cars on oil trains and stuff like that. But this is one of two cars that we're releasing now. That's geared to reflecting the more modern freight cars you see on the rails today. This is in the Burlington Northern scheme. This would have been an as delivered scheme, I believe, from the '70s. One of the things I love about this car is the amount of underside detail you have on here.
Yeah, absolutely. They our engineering team did a great job with the complete brake system, all the necessary piping and lines and cylinders, the appliances for the hopper outlets themselves, the brake wheel on the end of it, the air hoses. Yes.
And then if you see on the roof here, we've got all the loading hatches here, and it's hard to make out on the screen here, but these are see-through walkways as well.
Oh, nice.
So we're very excited about this car. It's going to be a great addition to the line, and one of the cool things about it actually is these are actually being offered in. I only have one road number here, but these are being offered in 2 road numbers each. So traditionally, when we release a new freight car, we do one road number per road name. We're starting to increase that now, so we're offering a second road number for each one of these cars to just help bulk up your concepts a little bit, because it's rare that you see just one of the same type of car in a train. So, got the Burlington Northern here. And we've got 3 other paint schemes that we've announced.
Oh, do you have that cool silver Union Pacific? I've been wanting to see that one.
We do, yeah, I love that one. So we have CSX here, one of the more recent schemes. I believe this one could be seen from the late 80s into today. Again, highlight the detail under there. It looks so cool. Um, we've got the GATX or GACX airslide scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, for versions that are running on the railroad today, still, this is one of the ones that you see a little more often, which is it's a cool looking scheme. And it's
Yeah.
one of the unique things about it is it actually has the name of the car type on the side of the car.
Yes. For those who are not familiar with what an airslide car it is, why that car is called what it is, airslide was a process that was created by the General American Corporation, which built these cars. It was a process that made it easier to unload fine materials that would have been carried in these cars, like flour and sand. It would involve pumping compressed air into the car. The air would move through tiny holes in the fabric that lined the inside of the car, and it would turn the fine material, like the sand or the flour, into it would almost not liquefy it. It wouldn't change the state of things, but it would make it flow like a liquid so it could exit out of the car easier. If you've ever had a hourglass of sand in it and you've turned it over, it takes a long time for the sand to get to the bottom. And the airslide hopper was designed to speed that process up by unloading the car using compressed air.
Excellent. A very good explanation on that, Tyler. Yeah, it's an awesome car, and yeah, that was its specialty purpose. Very cool.
Yeah.
And Tony, the one you've been waiting for here is our silver Union Pacific version.
Oh, cool, with matching trucks even. Yes, that's the one I gotta have. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little before my era, but I said the same thing to Tyler when the samples came in. I said, you know what, I might just have to get one of these too.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. That's a great addition to the Bachmann line to have those. Yeah.
Yeah. We're very excited about these. So I think that pretty much wraps up all of our new announcements for today. So let's move over to some stuff that's actually in stock now. So I have a couple of products here. This is a new paint scheme addition to our Bud Full Dome car. This is a Burlington Northern Santa Fe BNSF business car. This is the Bayview. It was in this scheme from the early days of the BNSF Railway when they still used the Santa Fe style drumhead herald there, or the Circle Cross logo. And it's actually still in the BNSF business fleet today. So a new and unique addition to this popular line of cars. And
Are those cars lighted, Matt? I think they are
these
lighted.
are lighted,
Aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, these are lighted. They have, you can see here, they've got full interiors in them as well. You can see the seating up there, and downstairs you got the kind of curved seating, the inward facing seating there. And I've never ridden on one of these personally, but I would love the opportunity because these are just such cool cars. And we also have two additions here to our popular track cleaning range. These are our 40-foot gondola, which is a car that's been in our line for a number of years. Most of you will probably be fairly familiar with it, but these are new versions here and new paint schemes that we haven't offered before that also feature the track cleaning pad underneath here. So if you want to add something to your freight train to keep your rails smooth and clean, so your 44 tonner doesn't drop out like it did on my track, then this is the car for you. And it's also worth mentioning that the dry cleaning pads underneath are replaceable and removable as well. So if the pad wears out over time, you can just take it out and put a new one in. This is the Delaware and Hudson. We got 4 paint schemes. That's Delaware and Hudson. This is the Penn Central, which, for all its flaws as a railroad, they had a pretty eye-catching paint scheme.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And we're also offering Union Pacific and North Pole and Southern for our Christmas range. So if you have a Christmas-themed railroad, you can have a track cleaning car for that. That'll look the part.
Nice.
So, Tyler, we have one more sort of announcement. Not really an announcement, and if you've been on our social media in the last few days, you will have seen it. But you want to explain a little bit about it?
I think I think we're on the same page about this. I believe you're referring to our new website.
I probably should have been a little bit more specific there.
Yes. Yes, that's okay. We saw a lot of people, getting excited. When we said we had a big announcement. Even after we said it wasn't a new product, but we think it's as good as a new product because our website at bachmanntrains.com, was in need of updates for many years,
Mhm.
and we've made that happen. We launched the new bachmanntrains.com last week. Our website is now fully integrated with our web store, and there you see it now on screen. So right off the bat, if you go on those yellow buttons up there, that takes you to all of the different categories of train scales and accessories that we offer. You've got a nice little slideshow there with the latest arrivals. You've got a dealer locator, a new and improved dealer locator, an improved product documentation page, as well as links to our parts web store, which is separate, and our event schedule. So upcoming train shows and things that we will be attending. And, we're very happy, with how it turned out working out with our web developer, bringing us into 2024 with our website.
Absolutely, yeah.
It looks nice, yeah, and website changes are never fun. That's always oh, so yeah. No, it looks like a great site, and yeah, functionality seems very good on it.
We've been working on this for well over a year now, so we're happy to finally be on this side of it, and not on the pre-release side. But yeah, we're very happy that we seem to have had mainly, for the most part, almost entirely positive responses to it. So
Nice.
yeah, if you haven't been on our new website yet, check it out. It's a great place to take a look at our product range, see what's just arrived, and we've got some other features too. Like you'll see that on the top menu bar, the blue bar at the top. We've also got some resources for people who are thinking about getting into the hobby. We've got a link to our Ask the Bachman forum, and just generally, it's a site that's easy to navigate and hopefully enjoyable to visit. So in terms of products, and announcements in general, I think that's pretty much all we have. Now, we usually at this point in the video, we open it up to any people watching for a general Q&A. As always, we'll do our best to answer questions to the best of our ability. We may not be able to answer everything, and we may not see every question, but we will do our best to answer them. And yeah, if you have anything you want to ask the Bachmann team or Tony Cook here, you can also ask about White River Productions. We will be happy to answer.
Now let's lead off from the going back to the start of the stream here. We had some questions about the Dreyfus Hudson reveal. As you may remember, we did show the first pre-production sample and engineering sample of the Dreyfus Hudson back on our very first New Model Monday stream back in March. So that is up there, for you to rewatch anytime. As far as the painted and decorated samples, we don't have them available to us yet. Stay tuned in the next couple of weeks. Possibly in July, possibly in August, we'll have something to show you.
We're hoping by the RPM meet in St. Louis.
Oh, which, yes, I wanted to mention that. I'm so excited that Bachmann is going to be at the St. Louis RPM, which is the local RPM that I go to. That I'm in the Kansas City area, and the St. Louis one is a trek that myself and my assistant editor look forward to all year long to go to. And I'm really excited to say that Bachmann will be joining the St. Louis RPM this year for the first time, and it is coming up sooner than you think. It's the weekend of July 18th and 19th.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and you can Google St. Louis RPM. They've got a website and get information on it. But it is a fantastic place to get to not only see manufacturers, a lot of historical societies are there, so you can talk to and see publications, things they do, and then naturally the models. There's just table after table of fantastic models that people bring and show off. So it's a great 2-day event, and in the St. Louis area, it's over on the Collinsville side in Illinois, but that's July 18th and 19th. So looking forward to that for sure.
Looking forward to attending. So I'm seeing a couple of questions here about the. I've seen some questions about the updates on the 19th century 460. This is something, Tyler, you've been working on pretty closely, so I'll pass that one to you again, if you don't mind answering that one.
Yeah, fortunately, I don't have much to report right now. This has been a bit of a challenging project, and to kind of give some perspective, those of you who have been in N-Scale for a while, you may be familiar with. We had for many years a 440 American, the same type as we have in HO. We offered, us the Central Pacific Jupiter, the Union Pacific 119, and that was a very old antiquated model. And one of the things holding it back was the motor not being in the locomotive itself, but being in the tender, and tender pushing the locomotive around. So our goal with this 19th century 460 is to take things a step up from that in every way, with how that model is designed and operated. Putting the motor in the locomotive itself instead of the tender, and of course adding DCC and sound on board. So it's been taking a while to get the engineering tackled on that, but it is something that's being actively worked on. That's all I can say at the moment. We don't have anything to show for it, and I can't say when we'll have anything to show for it. But we are hard at work on because we know that we want to give a quality locomotive for all the old time 19th century modelers out there.
Yeah, and we know there's a lot of demand for this locomotive, so we want to get it right.
Absolutely.
It really is. It always surprises me. In fact, I had somebody just in the last week saying, "What are the chances of getting my hands on one of these soon?" And it's like, wow, I'm always surprised at, because to me that seems like such an old prototype, but
Mm-hmm.
it does have there's a real interest in them. Yeah.
I've noticed within the last few years, there's definitely been an uptick in interest for pre-1900 railroading.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. Are the dash 8 40 CWs on the water? Yes, they are. Just like the 44
Well,
tonners and the 060s. Those are also in transit to Bachmann headquarters, and we will hopefully have them on their way to dealers in the next couple weeks.
Absolutely.
and that's what HO Scale. That's a return of that. In fact, that's, I think, its first release as a regular Bachmann release. That was a Spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
The Dash 8 was originally.
Mm-hmm. This is
Yep,
also the first.
first time sound on board.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the sounds on that are fantastic too. If you go back in our video history, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, check out our stream from I believe it was 2 months ago. Tyler has a great presentation where you can hear the sound of the locomotive.
I was watching it live going, "Oh, cool. I'm glad those are coming back." And I think that's been the back cover ad on Model Railroad News. I'm like, "Oh boy, yeah, I'm eager to see that one." So very
Yeah,
cool.
we're
Those
excited
are
to see them come
on the
back.
water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a question here. Are you guys going to do any releases like the B&O EM1 or the 482 USRA Mountain in HO scale or the PRR K4s? We have done the K4s in HO scale. We've done both the Streamline K4s and the standard K4s. Our most recent release was a Spectrum release of the standard K4s, which was a couple of years ago. I believe those are still in stock. Um, so you may still be able to get your hands on one of those. And in terms of the mountains, when was the last time we had the mountains in HO?
Early 2010s, I believe.
Yeah, so we have done the mountains in the not too distant past. It's certainly a possibility that they might come back again in the future. But yeah, this is whatever we say when there's a request for something that's been in the line before. It's certainly got a good chance of coming back, possibly even a better chance than something that you haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And the same could be said for the EM1 as well. We know there's a lot of interest in seeing the EM1 come back in HO scale.
That was the first big monster steam locomotive that I ever bought new, because I had, older vintage things, but that C&O or B&O, I forget which it is, that big Mally was like the first time I went for a big giant steam locomotive was that Spectre model, and very, very cool piece.
It's a very cool locomotive, and it's just a shame that none of them exist in reality anymore now.
Mm.
As with so many of those locomotives.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to all the Thomas and Friends fans and collectors watching the stream and in the chat. Knocking out a couple of your questions here. No update on Stanley at this time. We don't have a shipping date for N-Scale Gordon yet either. What I can tell you, we have a question about, is Bo in stock? Bo is in stock. We are shipping him out to dealers now to satisfy their orders and pre-orders, and he will be available. He may be available today. I
I
haven't.
think I think he's actually, as of today, I think he is available on our website.
Yes, I'm going to double check that right now to confirm that.
The one Thomas thing I was excited by, didn't we see the HO Rebecca, a painted sample of that
Hmm.
in the last couple weeks? And I thought it really looked sharp.
Yeah, yeah, she's got a striking paint scheme.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yes, I
Um,
can. I can confirm Bo is now available in stock for purchase. You can buy him on our website at shop.bachmanntrains.com, or you can check with your local retailer.
And just to expand on the question about N-Scale Gordon's arrival, while we don't have a specific date for it, we are expecting at some point, probably in the fall. At the very latest, it should be early winter. Let's see.
I have a question. Any Mexican paint schemes for steam or diesel in HO? Well, right now, you may already be aware to the person who asked that. We do have in HO scale, we have the SD40-2 for the NDM, the National Railway of Mexico. That arrived a couple of years ago. It was kind of a first time we did a Mexican railroad, a little bit of an experiment. Don't have any immediate plans right now to do further Mexican road names, but it's not completely out of the question. Something we'll keep in mind.
Absolutely. Let's see.
How close is my favorite, the HOBL2, from being available?
That's a good question. I haven't checked the status on that one recently. I don't know if you have, Tyler.
Last I checked, I believe we were looking at this fall. They
Oh,
would be arriving.
Yeah,
awesome, awesome. I remember
yeah,
you show. I've got that fanned out group of the painted samples. I ran that in the magazine a month or two ago. It's like, well, it's got to be getting close.
yeah. And I know a lot of people are eager for those. We're excited to see them too because it's the first time the BL2 has been available in HO scale in probably at least 20 years since the Lifelike one was available.
Good long time, yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
Let's see. Did have a question here about will Bachmann do a Dwight D. Eisenhower A4 or USA Flying Scotsman? So those are obviously British locomotives. I believe both of those have been made in 00 scale, including the USA version of the Flying Scotsman. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I would probably hedge your bets on getting one of the 00 scale ones. Look to see if you can find one of those around.
I think I can't remember. Well, that might have been in Bachmann's line, like 85, 86.
So we had
There
a set called the
was.
Flying Scot. I
Okay.
don't think we had the Flying Scotsman in there. The
All
Flying
right.
Scot was it was a London Midland Scottish Railway locomotive,
Uh,
Hmm.
slightly different design. Yeah, we had some interesting stuff in the '80s. We had an Orient Express, I believe. We had the TGV. Those
oh,
are some.
that's right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of from a collector's perspective, those are some cool finds if you can find those.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see, Tyler, have you got any other questions here lined up?
I do have a question following up on the 19th century 460 and N scale. If this would help to improve the N scale old time 440. It's something we can look into. Right now our priority is on getting the 460 engineering finished on that and getting that into production since that has already been announced. Certainly something we'd love to you know no limit on how many 19th century locomotives we can do if the technology is there to do it right in N scale.
Mhm.
I would love to bring back the Jupiter and the 119 and all the other classic 440s. So something we'll keep in mind.
I'm seeing a question about the N-scale GP38s, whether we're considering Kansas City Southern paint schemes or anything else. This is our first run of these locomotives DCC ready. We've offered different paint schemes for the sound value version, so it's entirely possible that we may come out with more paint schemes in the future. So I would say watch this space for those.
That's a fantastic entry level model. And so is, I think, don't you have a new run of HO Jeep 7s coming? And are
We
they
do.
just DCC or are they DCC ready? I forget. I wrote it up just a week or so ago for the magazine. I can't remember. Like
So the
there's a
Jeep
silver
Sevens.
Amtrak and Conrail and like a C&O. And what's its setup though? It's a nice entry piece.
Yeah, so that I believe that they came out last year. These are they're DCC ready. Um, they are. I'm trying to picture what the what the underside of them looks like now. Do they have the provision for the speaker in them, or that or do they just have a standard?
They do,
Okay,
and it's an 8-pin plug on those.
okay, yeah, because these are these are not reissues, but they're a run of a locomotive that we have run in the past. With paint schemes that we haven't done before. But yeah, those are very cool locomotives. I picked up one of the Amtrak ones for myself. Can't resist a good Amtrak locomotive. Um, and yeah, they're very cool locomotives. Um, so let's see. I do have a question here about whether we have any new track pieces available. So we did just receive our shipment of our Easy Track starter set, which just comes with track. It doesn't come with a locomotive or anything, but if you're looking to expand your Easy Track setup that you may have got with your train set, this is a fantastic way to do that. Or if you want to start with Easy Track, but you don't want to necessarily make a train out of the sets that we offer, you can customize it yourself. You can buy your own locomotive, your own cars, and run it with the starter set.
We do also have we have a sample of it back in the office that we have not shown online yet. So it's a little bit of a teaser, but back in I believe summer 2023, we announced a an old time, meaning 19th century early bumper, where as opposed to being a couple pieces of steel, it's a bunker filled with sand, and we do have a sample of that in the office, and that may be something we can show quickly. Might not even wait for New Model Monday. Maybe we can show that during the week. We'd be happy to show that off, because I can see we've got some old time 19th century modelers here in the chat, and we'd be happy to show that off for you.
Like I said, 19th century modeling is coming back. Let's see. I've got a question here. Any new offerings in O scale? We did just receive our shipment of our Easy Street. What do you call those? Not sedans.
Station wagons.
Station wagons. I don't know why I can never get that in my head. Yeah, we've got our station wagons in stock now. Actually, let me. If I just go back over to the website view here, I might be able to get you a shot of those. Let's go down to the latest arrivals. So yeah, if you have any questions about what's in stock now, what's expected in dealers imminently, the best place to go is right to our homepage, and you can click on the new products link. So here's the Easy Track oval that I was talking about. It does come with a DC controller and a standard 56 by 38 oval of track. And then I can get back to the back button here. We've got the Easy Street station wagons here. So we've got the gold one here, which is just for a model that's loosely based on cars, representative of cars that you'd see in the 60s to 80s. That's a pretty quintessential color for those. You've got the hearse version here, and you've got the ambulance version, which is my personal favorite. It's a really sharp looking paint scheme on there, and it's just a fun model.
Yeah.
And then we've also got
it's a little bit Ecto 1 esque.
a little bit, yeah. Not close enough to call it that, but it certainly looks similar.
If it was all white, it would be closer.
Yes. And then this is our sky blue version of the just the regular passenger version as well. These run on standard 3-rail AC O scale track. You can use them on our Easy Street track, which it's pictured sitting on there, or you can run it on your railroad as well if you want. They could easily pass for an inspection car in addition to just being a car on the road.
I didn't realize they operated on track. I knew they had on like the slot car track, but they run on the 3-rail O track as well.
These do, yeah. So Easy Street track and our 3-rail O scale track is essentially the same technology. So that is what we have coming out in O scale right now. Seeing questions about various charger possibilities, like the Brightline chargers and the Metro North chargers. The Charger is it's a popular model in our line, and we would we'll see what we can do about future offerings, but nothing to speak of right now. And
And a suggestion for a Camelback locomotive. Camelback is something that we actually looked into a couple of years ago. Uh, Kind of the thing we ran into with the Camelback. That style of locomotive, we found that it had a wide variety of railroads that used it. Primarily your northeast anthracite railroads. The issue that we found was that there were a lot of different wheel arrangements, and we wanted to kind of try to pick an option that would give us a lot of different road name possibilities and be able to do legitimate road names on that model. And ultimately, we decided to put it on the back burner. So that's not to say we're actively working on it or anything. It is something that we've looked into. Personally, the Riding Railroad's my favorite railroad, and they of course had a lot of Camelbacks. So of course, I'd love to have one. In N scale in particular. That's something we'll keep in mind.
Yeah, it certainly would be a cool locomotive to see. Now, we just got a slew of new questions here while you were answering about the Camelback, so I'm going to try and answer a couple of those. So there are a couple of different questions about ON30 products, a general any ON30 stuff in the works question. ON30 is, I know I've seen some, there's been some speculation and concern that ON30 is going to be withdrawn from our line online. That's absolutely not true. We're always looking for new opportunities to bring ON30 products to the line, and we actually have the 3-bay East Broadtop style hoppers in the works right now that we're hoping to have an update on in the fairly near future. Those are going to be available in East Broadtop colors with the Acorn logo. They're also going to be available in Denver. Is it Denver Rear? No, it's Durango and Silverton. White Pass and painted on lettered in oxide red as well. And the cool thing about these cars is these are actually all prototypical road names for this car. While they were built for the East Broadtop Railroad, actually by the East Broadtop Railroad, when the railroad ceased operations as a common carrier, they actually sold off a lot of these cars to various other still functioning narrow gauge railroads around the country. So you can, to this day, find them pretty much from coast to coast. I believe the furthest west in the continental U.S. is, I guess it would be the White Pass. They're also the Sumter Valley in Oregon, and the absolute furthest west is there's one in Hawaii as well. And in terms of, there was a specific question about the ON30 280 that we did announce a couple of years ago. That product is unfortunately indefinitely on hold right now. It might be a possibility to bring back in the future, but it's not something that's going to be pursued right now, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I also see a question here about whether there's any possibility of a Conrail -8 or -9. I'm going to assume this is HO scale for our -8. When we released the -8 in our previous runs, several years before our current run, we did produce a Conrail version. I think actually in the very first run of these, when they were in the Spectrum line, we did produce a Conrail version. So you may be able to find one of those out there. Could it make a return into the line? Possibly. If you have something you want to see, either return to our line or as a new product, the best thing you can do is email us at info@bachmanntrains.com. If you have friends or people in your modelers club that also want to see that same product, have them email us as well, because the best way for us to know that there's demand for something out there is for you guys to tell us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, likewise for the question about the N-scale 44 tonner coming back. That's something we can certainly consider. If the demand is there, and just if we feel the time is right. So appreciate the suggestion, and keep them coming. I've just had a question come in about a B36-7 update. I believe that was supposed to be a C36-7 update. That's another model that is in the design phase. Don't have anything to show for it at the moment.
Yeah, we're excited to see that one though. It's a model that's been a locomotive type that's been it's been underappreciated in the community for the last couple of decades. Actually, pretty much. I mean, I don't think it's ever been done in consumer plastic before. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
ETA for Rebecca and Thomas and Friends. I haven't checked recently, but I believe she's expected. Probably, I'm going to assume it's this fall. I usually like to check our status right before we go on this, but with our website launch, it's been a little crazy here, and I'm not quite up to date. But I believe it's supposed to be here this fall.
Mm-hmm. Got a question. Any possibility that the Berkshires will be back? They have been back in HO scale. We have the nickel plate and the Pair Marquette versions back in stock now in HO DCC Sound Value. The Chesapeake and Ohio Kanawas will be back in stock later this year. N scale, no immediate plans to bring them back, but something we can consider.
Absolutely. All right, I think that's all the questions I have. And Tony, I don't want to keep you for too long because we've been on here for a little over an hour now already. But let's see.
Lots of fun information, exciting stuff on the HO freight cars. How about the Trinity 5161?
Yeah,
center flow, is that close?
We have our first unpainted sample of those. I don't know if we showed it last time. I don't think we did, but
I think we did back in April.
Oh, we did. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's we don't have painted samples to show right now for those. But as soon as we do, we will rest assured we will definitely have those on the stream because we're excited about those too. That's just about the most popular hopper out there on the prototype railroad now.
Can't see a train that you don't see a string of those or something close to it. Yeah.
That's why we had to have it in our line. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for now. Unless you have anything else, Tyler, you wanted to add?
I don't have anything personally. I think you were you going to look and show us some of your rail fanning adventures recently?
Oh yeah. So last week I took a personal trip out to the Seligman sub, BNSF out in the west. I love Western railroading. BNSF is probably one of my personal favorites in terms of modern road names. Just a very cool experience, and had a couple of videos I was I'll just share one video on the stream here. But let's close out with that. So before we do that, I just want to say, Tony, thank you for coming on and joining us. Your knowledge of model trains and your expertise of knowing about the prototypes is always well appreciated and quite frankly kind of astounding.
I appreciate it. I'm happy to be on here. I'm glad you guys are doing this show. When you started doing it, I said, let me come on sometime to promote it and get the information out there. For the magazines that I do, you can go to shop.whiteriverproductions.com and find out more on those. As I say, I do Model Railroad News and Diesel Era. There you go. And HO Collector Annual is coming out soon. And we talk Amtrak a bunch of stuff today. There's a new version of our Amtrak by the Numbers 2, and this is a hardcover book that White River has done, and this is a new updated edition of this. And again, you can find out there's a new Rio Grande book. We've got a lot of annuals. We do an ON30 annual each year. There's a Garden Railways annual that I think just came out. So all sorts of things. Go to shop.whiteriverproductions.com and you can learn more about it.
Awesome. I will say I have that Amtrak book myself, and that was a staple on the dining room table for. I think I read that thing cover to cover.
It's a great book, yeah,
and certainly a fantastic resource for modelers as well. So with that, let me pull up a shot of from the trip out west, and we'll leave it there. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and as always, we will see you again next month.
Awesome.